Hello, my lovely friends, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be working on a collage in my latest junk journal. But before we get into that, I wanted to have a little chit chat with you about the obvious struggle that I have in this video. Things just did not go according to plan, which is the story of my life these days. But anyways, I thought I knew exactly what I wanted, right? I thought I knew I had the picture of the kitty, I had my purple pages, my contrast purple pages, I had a couple of stickers that I wanted to use, because I thought I'm going to make this easy on myself by just having a few things in front of me to work with a very specific plan in mind, and not overwhelm myself with all the possibilities and all the paper and all the stickers and all the stuff, right? Because sometimes that's what I do. I get very excited, and I'm just, brimming with possibility, and I want to use all the stuff, and then I'm overwhelmed because I have too many choices. And when I was making this video, I thought, oh, this is going to be great. This is going to be easy because I've set myself up in such a way that I'm not going to struggle. It's just going to be great. It's going to be easy peasy. But right from the very beginning, I found that I was struggling right from the start. And so there was that part of it that was kind of bugging me a little bit, because I was like, why isn't this just going together? Because normally I don't have a problem with this kind of thing. And as I was editing the video and I was watching myself and listening to what I was saying, I realized that part of it was I was feeling a little bit under the gun because I was filming it to show you. And I wanted it to look easy, and of course I wanted it to look good. I wanted it to look like this is effortless, I just put the paper on the page and it just flows. And normally that's kind of what happens, but there is a different expectation, certainly when I'm making a video and I'm filming and I'm showing you what I'm doing, and me just being here by myself and just doing the kind of things that I normally do when I'm alone. And so I realized that my flow was all off. My mojo was off. My vibe was off. I kept fighting with these purple papers. And so as I'm watching myself a few days later, I'm sort of questioning what's going on, outside of the fact that I was maybe feeling like, because I was filming it, that there wasn't going to be room for error, there wasn't going to be room for nuance, sort of thing, right? And so as I'm watching myself not in any way be able to get into a flow state, it did make me think about times where it's much easier for me to get into that flow state while I'm working or creating in my journal or on any project, really, because that's sort of the holy grail of what we're looking for. We want to be in that flow state. We want to feel that kind of joy of doing something creative and fun without any expectations, just doing it because it's fun, doing it because we get to be creative, we get to explore, we get to, problem solve in a fun way. And that's the magic, that's the sweet spot. That's where you're like, oh my God, this just feels so great. I love doing this. I love gluing paper on other paper, right? And so it made me question, so what was going on with my flow state? And so I found a couple things that I wanted to share with you, because I thought it was really interesting, and I think you'll find it interesting too. So obviously there's lots of definitions out there about flow and flow state. And certainly some people struggle to get into a flow state much more than others for various reasons. The one thing that I read, which definitely applies to me, was that they say that if you can't get into that flow state if you're trying to multitask. And when I first read that, I was like, girl, oh, you don't know. I can get into that flow state, and I can do this and this and this and this at the same time. And then I thought about it for a little bit, and she talks about the fact in this little article that she wrote, you can't be in a flow state if you're answering emails, sending back text messages, thinking about emails or text messages. You can't get into that flow state if your attention is being pulled into many different places. And as much as I can get into a flow state while I'm working here and watching TV, she's right. I can't get into a flow state if there's something nagging at me in the back of my brain, whether it's laundry sitting that needs to go into the dryer, or I'm thinking about something that's supposed to go on a list, or whatever it is, I need to go and take care of that thing so that I can sort of then really release and relax and then get into that flow state, right? So that was very interesting. Here's something else that I think you might like. The challenge, so this was a question somebody had written and said, why do I find it so hard to get into a flow state? And this article had said, the challenge skill ratio is part of the finding the flow, right? So it takes a bit of nuance to get it right. So listen to this. This is really interesting. Flow occurs at the midpoint of boredom, when the task is too easy, and anxiety, the task is too challenging. And so flow is finding that sweet spot between the two. You find that spot where you're not bored, but you're not being taxed by, sorry, I'm looking at my hands and I should be looking at you. You're not being taxed by the challenge. And so, that's certainly relatable in the sense that if you have to do something repetitive over and over and over again, it literally makes you crazy, right? If you have to, I don't know, pick something that you would have to do. Like I'm thinking if I had to, fussy cut. Let's say I had to fussy cut the same image out 100 times. That could bring you a flow state, but it could also be really boring because you're looking at the same image over and over and over again. Now you could fussy cut 100 images, but if they're all different, then that's producing a different reaction in your brain. So I thought that was really cool to consider. And of course, the other thing is, and I think this definitely applied to me right at the very beginning of this video, whereas I was ready to go. I was quite relaxed. I was really looking forward to making the video for you guys and doing this and talking and chatting and hanging out with you. But then when all of a sudden I couldn't make happen what I wanted to happen on the paper, I couldn't get things to go in alignment, then I became hyper focused on the fact that things weren't working. And then I felt that, like she says here, the task is too challenging. It wasn't that I couldn't figure out how to make the paper go together. It was that I couldn't see the result that I expected to see. And the more I moved things around, the worse I made it. And so then the flow's gone because my challenge, I can't overcome the challenge, which was to make the purple paper look how I wanted to make the purple paper. Right. So yeah, it's really interesting. Okay, so here's one other little thing to go with what we just said. Flow state is a highly focused and immersive mental state in which an individual's skill level matches the challenge of the task. Perfect. So the most important part and the last thing I want to mention is part of being in a flow state, and I know I can certainly relate to this, is a loss of self-consciousness, meaning the inner critic is silenced and you are no longer concerned with other people's judgments. And that really spoke to me, and I was like, ah, yes, where you're really free to just try, experiment, and not get hung up on quote unquote the consequences, right? And I suppose for me making the video, part of that was making the video itself was where I kind of got off track, because I was whether I was realizing it at the time or not, I was quite concerned about whether or not this was going to be a good video to put out there, and whether or not it was worthy of sharing it with you and you watching it. And yeah. So let me know in the comment section down below if you have any thoughts or feelings about the flow state, or if you have any little tricks that you like to use to help yourself get into that flow state, or if you struggle with a flow state. You know, there isn't the right way to be in a flow state. There isn't any one trick. It's all very different for all of us. But I do think that it's intrinsically why we gravitate to doing whatever lights us up, like a Christmas tree inside, whether it's paper crafts, whether it's cooking, knitting, baking. We all hopefully find something that really, really allows us to escape, let's be honest, the outside world, and go within and just spend some time with ourselves where we really do feel at peace. And certainly that's my hope for you, while you're working in your journals or while you're doing your paper crafts. And part of the reason why I say at the end of my videos, speak kindly to yourselves, is because I think that is part of being in a flow state, is where you can encourage yourself, speak nicely and kindly to yourself, and just see where the whole process takes you without any judgment, right? Like that's really key. So anyways, all that's to say, I hope you will enjoy watching the process, and I hope that you will take something from it that is helpful for you. And if nothing else, the moral of the story is, you know, don't give up. Don't be hard on yourself. Move things around a little bit. Just try something different, because you never know what combination of things, especially when we're doing collage and journaling, what combination is finally going to produce that aha moment for you, which is really what we're after, which is really what is that great reward, is when you do it, you get it on paper, whatever it is, and you look at it and you're just like, that's it. I love it. I'm so happy, right? Because that's why we do these things. It's to bring joy and happiness, and to find some relief with all the craziness out there. Anyways, I'm gonna leave it there, but I really would appreciate, you know, hearing from you guys. If you have something to share, please do leave it in the comment section. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. And yeah, now that's it. Zippity-doo-dah. Let's get on to the video, and I hope you will enjoy it. Alrighty-roo, for our next page, which is at the front here of the journal, I have this gorgeous photo of this beautiful kitty. So again, in the interest of using what we have, I just pulled out a few things for this page. I'm not sure, I'm going to cut around her. And for some reason, I thought it would be fun to put purple in behind. So I have this part of an old purple envelope, and I was playing with it, and I quite like the contrast between the color of her fur and the purples. And then I just pulled out a bunch of purple scraps. So I'm just going to sort of collage this. Then we're going to see where it goes. So I have the kitty here. I have this pretty tag. And I thought maybe the tag could go in behind the kitty. But then I have these purple flower stickers. I have a feeling that there's going to be a real floral theme to this journal. At least that's how it's going to start. So I'm trying not to overwhelm myself with too many things because that's my usual trick. But what I am thinking is if this is going to be a pocket, I'm going to glue something to the back of it just to make it a little bit more sturdy. I still want to see the ripped paper there. And let me just rip this. Oh wait, that's not the... Actually, let's do it like this. I think I'm just going to use the glue stick for this because it's a little bit faster. So I'm going to have this list of things that I want to do. I put it on the, well, it doesn't matter. I have this list of things that I want to do for the autumn. And this year, I'm really going to try and stick to it. Because every year I come up with this whole thing, and it's like, make pumpkin soup. Go to a pumpkin patch. Go get apples. Go do all this stuff, right? And, you know, as always, life kind of gets in the way. Now, I think I just want something... So, you know, I got to get out my autumn-themed books. I didn't read hardly at all this summer. I don't know what it was. I just wasn't in the mood. My time to read is in the tub. So I get into the tub usually, and I'm like, okay, you know, it's time to relax and just decompress and not worry and not... Can you see what I'm doing? My famous trick, working so you can't see what I'm doing. And I don't know what was going on with me this year, this summer, but I found, maybe it's just because there was so much going on with, you know, there was for us Canadians, there's all this tariff stuff. I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing about that, how that's even going to work, shipping, like all of it. So I found myself in the tub reading news articles, and at one point I was like, okay, this is not what bath time is for, Lisa. You have to put down the newspapers and stop trying to problem solve while you're in the bathtub and just read your book, right? And so part of why I really wanted to make this list, and I haven't finalized the list, but when I get it done, I will let you know what's on, like how it all goes together. I don't think I want it to... Oh, that might be... Let's see. Let's cut out the cat. I think I'm going to leave some of the orange around the kitty, like a bit of an outline. So yeah, so when I get this list done, although TikTok, right? Like today is the 19th of September. And I say it every time. How on earth? Like seriously, how? How is it halfway through September? I haven't even done my Halloween mantle yet. I got to finalize that list this weekend. Ooh, I like that. This is going to be good. Ooh, yeah. That looks really nice against the purple. Now, what do I want? See, I wasn't, oh, now I don't mind that. So if this was going to be, if this is the pocket, with the purple, then you don't see that much of the flower, do you? So maybe that's sort of a waste of a sticker, so to speak. I wanted to do a voiceover at this part in the video because it's been about 4 or 5 days since I filmed myself trying to put this collage together. And looking back on it, I have to admit I feel a tiny little bit foolish because I'm clearly agonizing over what I want and how I want it to go. And I wish on some level that I had gone with the flow a little bit more and not been maybe a bit rigid. And the struggle at this point was, I think I know what I want, meaning I have this idea in my head that I really like the purples in the backdrop that contrast really nicely with the oranges in the kitty. And I think part of it is because I'm doing this on camera and I'm feeling a little bit pressured, for lack of a better word, to make it look easy and effortless. And at this point, I'm not doing either. But I realize that sometimes you just kind of have to let go. And as you can see, I'm starting over. And this was a bit impulsive. Even I have to admit that. But I wanted to see the flowers. I wanted the purple. And I wanted the flowers to pop because I really wanted the flowers to be a focal point. So looking back at this, this is sort of a twofold lesson in my mind for myself going forward. Don't get too attached to an outcome. Go with the flow, because sometimes what your brain thinks it wants and what your creative soul wants are two different things. And in the end, I really like what I did, but I was fussing about and I was trying to get to an end result that, for whatever reason, that day just didn't come easily. Like I said, I'm happy with the results, but I wish that I had given myself a little bit more wiggle room to not be so focused on one or two of the aspects of this. In the end, I'm very happy with it. I like that I got the dictionary page underneath the flowers so that they really popped the way that I wanted them to. And that I did use some of the purples that I had pulled out. And I get this music page out. And the kitty still pops really nicely against the purple. It doesn't have as much purple behind it, meaning the kitty, as I'd wanted to. But anyways, some days, my friends, the collage struggle is real, and what your brain wants and what your soul wants are two different things. I have I have a ton of stickers, and I do mean a ton. So I'm taking advantage of this situation to try and use up some of these stickers that I have. I don't know. Okay, so that has potential. Then I've got this one that I dug out, which isn't, very exciting to say the least. But I thought I could maybe stick that just for a little bit of filler. I don't know, basically just to use it up. And then I did find this butterfly. And I thought, these colors, all, you know what? That looks great. That looks great. And what I've decided that I'm going to glue the kitty cat down up here, and I'm going to glue her down there. And then this tag is going to come in on the side this way. So if it needs to poke through there, that's what I'm going to do. And then what I'm going to do on the back of this tag, there's a few things, even though September is halfway done, which is, again, I just don't understand how we got here. But there's a few specific autumn activities or autumn things that I would like to do. I'm not going to overwhelm myself, because that's usually my favorite trick, is to be like, oh, I'm going to go do this and this and this and this and this. And I have like 100 things and I end up doing 2 of them because life gets messy. And anyways, so I thought what would be fun here is to maybe just write 4 or 5 things on the back of this tag that I would really, really like to try and do. For example, I think one of them would be to either make a pumpkin soup or to make an apple soup. And I've never made either of those. So, and that's very doable, right? So those sorts of little autumn, enjoy a really nice cup of apple spiced or apple cinnamon tea on the back deck without my iPad, without my phone, just me and the cats, just spending, you know what I mean? Like just those sort of simple little things where you just slow down. I mean, really, that's what autumn is all about, right? So that's what's going to go on the back of here. I'll show you before the end of the video. I'll write a few things down and I'll let you know what those are going to be. And let's get these in. So I'm going to put this here. So these stickers were very glossy and quite shiny. And I just painted over them with the same glue mixture that I glued the maple leaves with. I just went over it. I put all the stickers on a tray with some wax paper, and I did a coat of the white glue and water mix to take some of the gloss off of it. Okay, so now Kitty is going to go here, and let's just stick that in there. There we go, there we go. Okay, so now let's get our little butterfly up here. Okay, so if this is going to go in here, I feel like it needs a letter S for September. Do I have something handy? I do. There or over here. No, for some reason I want to get that corner all cluttered up there. Okay, let's put this S there. Some people need fancy, expensive things. Some people need grandiose gestures. But me, I just need my collage to work out. Then I'm settled, then I'm good. Okay, I'm loving this. I'm loving this. So now we're just going to go in and I'm going to mark roughly where we're going to glue. So I'll give myself lots of space to get this tag in and out. Okay, I think I'm going to use my art glitter glue, or no, I'm going to use the Beacon 3-in-1 for this to give it just a little bit more of a strong hold there. And up here. I tell my husband on a regular basis how lucky he's got it for a million reasons. But the one is that it doesn't take me much. It doesn't take much to really make me happy. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, a room full of paper scraps, a good bottle of glue, some cookies are always nice, and I'm happy. I always say I'm not fancy people. I know what I like and I like what I like, and I don't need it to be super flashy, you know. Okay, I love this. This is great. Phew, finally. I was a little worried there for a while. Yes, okay. Now, the one little thing over here was when I was scrounging around, I found these dragonfly stickers. Is that the same? Yeah, that's the same. This one is going to be yeah, that's too big. I found that one. I've had these forever. Sometimes I don't even want to tell you guys how long I've had stuff. It's kind of embarrassing. But see, you never know when you're going to need it. I like that. And what I am thinking is, what I might do is actually, let's put it up here. Give myself a little bit of space. I think I might actually go in and write something around that. Now, let me get this backing off, which is always a trick. And I watched some of the ladies here on YouTube do it with tweezers, and I can never make that little trick work. Now, there, that looks good. That's fun. I have no idea where I got these. It looks like they've got, are these the same? No, these are a little bit different. They're fun, but they're too big for these pages. But anyways, we got this one on here, so that's good. Okay, so let me go, and I'm going to figure out what I'm going to put on the back of this tag, and then, yeah, we'll wrap it up. Okie dokie, I'm just going to go around this number 9 here. And I thought a 9 is appropriate for 2 reasons. 1, I love numbers. Or no, actually 3 reasons. 1, I love numbers. 2, 9, of course, is for September. And 9, because cats have 9 lives. So let me just glue that on. Is that on sticker paper? I wonder if that's on sticker paper. Yep. So let's just stick that there. Okay, so I have my tag here, and I'll show you what I wrote. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. Okay, so these are things that I know almost 99% that I can manage. And then I won't feel bad if I don't do them. So make pumpkin or apple soup, like I mentioned, but I thought it would be fun to add beer and cheese into the mix as well. So stay tuned for that. Watch When Harry Met Sally, one of my favorite all-time movies, and it has the beautiful footage of New York in the autumn with all the leaves and everything. So I love that. So I'm going to do that. Start an autumn-themed book. So I have a couple of books upstairs that, you know, like I have one that's Agatha Christie short stories that all take place in the autumn. So that kind of thing. I'm going to go through my stack of books and see what I can get started that actually takes place in autumn. I think that'll be fun. I got to get back into reading. Like I said, I spend too much time reading news and all kinds of stuff that I shouldn't. It's not making me feel better. So I'm going to dig out a good book. Even if I've already read it, I'm going to reread it. Witches of New York by Amy McKay. That's another favorite one that I read almost every year over and over and over again. So if all else fails, I'm going to read that one for sure. Okay, next, enjoy apple tea with cinnamon toast. Totally doable. And then repot 2 plants for the winter. I have a couple plants upstairs that desperately need to have some fresh soil and a little bit bigger pot, I think. So, okay, my lovely friends, that has it. Those are the pages from today's video. I really like this. I'm glad that I stuck with it and didn't, because at one point I thought I'm just going to cover this all over and it was making me a little bit crazy, and I couldn't figure out why I couldn't make it work. But now that it's done, I absolutely love it. So we've got the purples that come together, the greens, and the greens tie in with the greens on this side, and then of course the autumnal colors of the kitty. Perfect. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. You guys know how much I appreciate when you spend your precious time with me and watch me do what I do in the journal. So if you have any questions, by all means, please do leave them in the description box or the comments boxes. You know what I mean. Down below. And as I say at the end of every video, speak kindly to yourselves. You know, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. The world is a crazy, crazy, crazy place. There is so much going on right now. It's very intense, and, you know, be mindful of the messages that you're telling yourself. You cannot control a lot of what's going on around you, but you certainly can control the way that you talk to yourself and the things that you say to yourself. So please do speak kindly. Enjoy your journal process. And if you like this video, please give it a little thumbs up. And thanks a lot for staying to the very end. And until the next video, I'll talk to you later. Mwah. Bye, everybody. How's it going? How was your nap? Was it great? Do you feel refreshed? You look pretty refreshed, I gotta say. Yeah, I mean, you're always beautiful, but you look refreshed. Okay, so you're just gonna hang out here? Okay, maybe nap a little bit more? Okay, you just close your little eyes. Yeah, and I'll come back and check on you later. Okay, bye.